Welcome to this deep dive review on Tech Talk Central. Today, we're tackling probably the biggest question in home theater right now, laser or LED projectors. It feels like it's not just about price anymore, right? It's almost like different philosophies.
Exactly. I'm Sarah, and I think, a lot of people just hear laser and think, okay, that's the winner. But the sources we looked at show that modern LED tech is actually really optimized for a completely different kind of user.
Yeah, definitely. I'm Nathan, and our mission today is basically to cut through all that marketing noise. We've pulled the key details from sources comparing two, real-world examples. The super powerful Nebula X1 triple laser 4K and the very portable LG Cinbeam PF510Q LED. We want to help you, the listener, figure out which technology genuinely wins based on, your actual life and what you need.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack this.
Right. Let's kick things off with the one that's built for, well, that pure cinema experience. When you look at the Nebula X1 laser, the specs, they almost feel a bit overwhelming. This thing is clearly aimed at someone setting up a dedicated movie room, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And what's really fascinating is how the core tech dictates what it can do. So the Nebula X1, it uses this patented triple laser optical engine, and that immediately gives you two huge things. True 4K UHD resolution that's 3840 by 2160, and just staggering brightness. We're talking 3500 ANSI lumens here.
And that brightness figure, that's so key, isn't it? Because traditionally, you turn on one lamp in the room and poof, the projector image just washes out. 3,500 lumens. I mean, that suggests you could actually watch sports or TV with some lights on, moving it out of just the dark cave.
Precisely. Yeah, it makes a huge difference for daytime or ambient light viewing. And if we look beyond just the resolution and brightness, the color performance mentioned in the sources is, well, it's stellar. The source notes 110% rec, 20/20 color coverage.
Okay, now, for those of us who aren't, calibration gurus, what's the deal with hitting 110% of rec 20/20? Why does that matter more than, say, 100% of DCI-P3?
Right, good question. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, rec 20/20, that's the color standard for Ultra HD stuff. Getting to 110% means the projector can actually produce colors beyond even the current cinema standard. It ensures the image is kind of future-proofed, incredibly vibrant, really lifelike. You're seeing shades and saturations that older projectors just couldn't hit.
That makes sense. But, okay, the real test of cinematic image, for me anyway, is contrast. How dark do the blacks actually get? This source quotes two numbers, 5,000.1 native contrast, boosted dynamically to 56,000.1. Now, is that 56,000.1 just like a marketing number? Or does the hardware in the Nebula X1 genuinely deliver those deep cinema-level blacks?
That's a really important question, yeah, because dynamic contrast can often feel a bit inflated. What's crucial here, according to the source, is the hardware driving it. The Nebula X1 uses a proprietary six-blade iris.
The six-blade iris, what does that actually do in practical terms?
Well, it basically works like the iris in your eye. It mechanically opens and closes to restrict or expand the light output based on the scene. That's what lets it hit that strong 5,000.1 native contrast. Then when you combine that with their Nebula Master dynamic processing, that 56,000.1 number reflects the system's real-time ability to manage light across bright and dark scenes. It creates genuine depth.
Gotcha. So that distinction, the hardware, actually backing up the spec that's vital for listeners trying to choose. And finally, certifications. The sources confirm this laser unit is ISF and TUV certified. What do those actually concern for the buyer?
Okay, so ISF certification tells you it meets industry standards for video calibration. Basically guarantees professional-grade color accuracy out of the box, or that it can be calibrated to that standard. TUV is more about safety and quality control testing. Put together, they confirm this isn't just a bright projector, it's accurate and built properly for a high-performance setup.
Right.
Which is why this laser option really prioritizes that absolute image quality and scale, projecting up to a massive 300-inch screen.
So we've got this immovable object of cinema quality, the laser powerhouse, clocking in at, what is it, over 19 pounds?
Yeah, 19.29 pounds. It's hefty.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the sort of irresistible force of convenience. If we look at the LG Cinbeam PF510Q LED, it just feels like it has a completely different mission, right? The trade-off starts immediately with that weight.
Absolutely. I mean, the LG is clearly built for portability and practicality above everything else. It's light enough you can genuinely carry it in one hand. It weighs only 2.2 pounds. And it fits into this tiny little footprint, 5.8 by 5.8 by 2.6 inches. You could, like you said, put it in a shoebox.
And this is where that core trade-off becomes crystal clear.
Yeah.
You're giving up the 4K resolution. You're giving up that extreme brightness of the Nebula. You drop down to full HD HD 1920 by 1080, and the max screen size is 120 inches.
Right, you're not buying the LG to replace your dedicated home cinema. You're buying it to, watch a movie in the backyard or maybe set up a quick presentation in an office instantly.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, I think, especially for long-term value. The light source lifespan. The LG uses LED technology. How long is that light source actually rated to last?
Okay, get this. The LG LED is rated for up to 30,000 hours of viewing without needing any lamp replacement.
30,000.
30,000 hours. It's incredible endurance. And it completely changes the whole cost of ownership calculation compared to old lamp projectors.
Wow. Okay, 30,000 hours. That's what, roughly 3.5 years of nonstop, 247 use? Does that almost mean the light source lifespan is kind of irrelevant now? I mean, are we at the point where the light source is going to outlive the rest of the projector, the processor, the cooling, the ports?
That's a fantastic point, actually. Yeah. For a lot of consumers, 30,000 hours effectively does mean the projector will probably become outdated because of, say, new HDMI standards or faster processors long before that LED source actually gives out. It basically shifts the whole maintenance worry away from the lamp and onto, well, software updates and hardware integration. Longevity is the huge win for this LED path.
Right. Okay, shifting gears to user experience. Both units are smart, but they seem to approach intelligence pretty differently. Let's go back to the Nebula X1 for a sec. When you've got that high-end dedicated system, what kind of proprietary tech does it use to make sure the user gets that perfect image every single time they turn it on?
Well, the Nebula X1, according to the sources, integrates some pretty high-end optical and mechanical bits. It's got a 14-element all-glass lens, which is important for maintaining sharpness across that huge potential 300-inch image. And, crucially, it has a motorized 25-degree micro gimbal built right into the hardware.
A micro gimbal.
Ah.
Okay, what's a practical benefit of that? Like, what does it do for me?
It means the projector itself can physically tilt the lens assembly, automatically adjusting to compensate if you've placed it low, or if the wall isn't perfectly flat, or maybe it's high up. You don't have to mess around with propping up the feet or physically angling the whole unit nearly as much.
Ah, okay. And then the software kicks in with this AI spatial adaptation. Can you tell us what the user actually gets from that? Remember the settings for my kitchen wall versus my patio wall?
That's exactly the idea, yeah. The AI spatial adaptation uses sensors to instantly scan the surface you're projecting onto. It analyzes the material, the color, maybe even the ambient light around it, and adjusts the picture accordingly. And yes, it uses something called spatial recall to save those settings for different locations. So if you move it from your basement cinema to the living room, it should remember the geometry and color adjustments for both spaces automatically.
That's pretty slick. And for content on the laser unit, it runs Google TV, and crucially, the source says it lets you watch official Netflix in 4K right out of the box. No side-loading apps or plugging in extra dongles, which can be a huge pain point on some high-end Android TV devices.
Definitely. Yeah, having that simplified official access to top-tier streaming, especially Netflix 4K, is pretty much expected at that kind of price point now.
Okay, so how does the little portable LG LED counter that level of sophisticated automation and high-end processing? It obviously can't have a massive liquid cooling system like the Nebula might. But it must have its own smart tricks for setting up quickly on the go, right?
For sure. The LG seems to focus much more on cross-platform connectivity and just simplicity, which makes sense for a portable device. It uses WebOS 22 for its built-in smart TV stuff. Now, while Google TV is popular, WebOS is often praised for being really fast and nicely integrated, especially if you have other LG gear.
Which is great if you just want to set it up anywhere and get streaming fast.
Absolutely, and this is crucial for Apple folks. It includes AirPlay 2 and HomeKit compatibility built in, so you can easily cast or mirror content from your iPhone, iPad, Mac, whatever, seamlessly. It also supports screen share for Android and Windows devices too, so it's pretty technology agnostic, which is perfect for a portable unit you might use with different people's devices.
Okay, and thinking of portability. What if I take this LG to a friend's place or outside and the little built-in speaker just isn't cutting it? What are the audio options?
Yeah, good point. It features something called Bluetooth Audio Dual Out. This is actually a really neat and practical feature. It lets you pair two separate external Bluetooth speakers simultaneously for a proper stereo setup. Or, let's say you and a friend are watching late at night and don't want to disturb anyone. You could pay two separate sets of Bluetooth headphones at the same time.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it's all about flexible audio integration. Plus, for just basic setup simplicity, it only needs Auto vertical keystone correction just adjusts for the vertical tilt automatically to square up the image quickly. Less fiddling.
Right. Okay. So we've covered the raw, uncompromising power of the laser, and then the sheer convenience and endurance of the LED. If a listener is looking for that deep dive takeaway,
Hmm.
how do we boil this all down? Which one actually wins?
Well, it's such a classic technology split, isn't it? It's based on your environment and your priorities, not really about one being universally better. If your absolute priority is uncompromising, fixed location, like cinema quality, if you demand that true 4K resolution, the really high brightness, the deep contrast, and you want the option to go huge, up to 300 inches, then yeah, the triple laser like the Nebula X1 example is the clear winner. It's an investment in a dedicated cinematic experience.
Okay. But if your priority is much more about versatile, long-lasting convenience, something light enough you can literally carry it in one hand, that essentially has a zero-maintenance light source because of that crazy 30,000-hour rating, and you need really solid wireless connectivity like AirPlay 2 for Apple users,
Yeah.
then the portable LED, like the LG Cinbeam PF510Q, that's the champion, right? It wins on pure practicality and utility for maybe the more everyday media watcher.
Exactly. Your choice really boils down to, do you prioritize the absolute best image possible, or do you prioritize flexibility and ease of use?
And there's one final kind of provocative thought that sort of ties these two things together, especially thinking about that long LED lifespan. We noticed the source mentioned the Nebula X1 laser projector is Climate Partner certified for carbon offsetting. So given that nod towards sustainability, even on the high end, and knowing LED tech offers that 30,000-hour lifespan, how quickly do you think environmental concerns, plus that low maintenance benefit, will push manufacturers towards these newer, more efficient light sources across the entire price spectrum? It feels like we're kind of watching the slow death of the traditional projector lamp in real time.
Oh, absolutely. I think that trend is only going to accelerate adoption, pushing these technologies down from just the high-end market. It seems inevitable.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the ongoing battle between laser and LED projectors.
And hey, if you want to find the latest prices and maybe check out some deals on either the Nebula S1 or the LG Cinbeam PF510Q, be sure to look for the links we've put in the description below.
Yeah, definitely check those out. And if you found this useful, if you feel a bit more informed about where to spend your next tech dollar, please do us a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.